There's a moment one sharp, aching second when you realize someone isn't sorry. They're just sorry they got caught, and yet something deep inside you hesitates. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe if you just give them one more chance, they'll finally understand how much they hurt you. But here's the hard truth they already understand. They just don't care enough to stop. People will test your kindness, stretch your boundaries, and convince you that you're being unfair when you finally say enough. But your heart is not a game. Your trust is not a toy. And your time, it's far too valuable to be wasted on someone who sees forgiveness as a free pass instead of a privilege. Trust isn't something you hand out like candy on Halloween. It's something that's earned moment by moment, action by action. And when someone shatters it, when they show you they're willing to betray you not once, but over and over, they're not making a mistake. They're making a choice. And you need to make one too. Here's the choice. Do you keep handing out second chances like a never-ending supply of lifelines? Or do you stand up and say no more because, listen to me, your heart is not a doormat? We get stuck in these cycles, don't we, believing in the potential of people instead of the reality. We hope that maybe this time they'll finally see the damage they've done. But let's be honest, hope is a beautiful thing, but it's not a strategy. Someone who truly values you doesn't need 10 reminders to treat you right. And here's the most important thing: letting go isn't losing. It's not failure. It's freedom. It's standing up for yourself and saying, I am done explaining why I deserve to be treated with respect. You are not cold-hearted for protecting yourself. You are not cruel for choosing peace over constant disappointment. You are not unkind for refusing to let someone turn your kindness into weakness. So don't let them play you for a fool. Not one more time. Not one more chance. Your trust is gold. Stop handing it out like pennies. Trust is one of the most valuable things you will ever give to someone, and yet it's also one of the easiest things for them to take for granted. It's delicate, built slowly over time, like a bridge constructed brick by brick. And the moment someone betrays you, that bridge isn't just cracked, it's shattered. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think trust is something you should automatically give, something that comes standard with love, friendship, or family. But the truth is, trust is not a birthright. It is not something people are entitled to just because they are close to you. Trust is something people must earn step by step through their actions, through their consistency, through the way they show up for you, not just once, but over and over again. Think about it. If someone keeps showing you that they will betray you, that they will lie, manipulate, or use you, why would you continue giving them the benefit of the doubt? Why would you assume they suddenly deserve your trust just because they ask for it? That's not trust, that's blind faith. And blind faith in the wrong hands will break you. People will try to convince you otherwise. They'll tell you that you're being unfair, that you're holding grudges, that you're not giving them a chance to prove themselves. But proving themselves isn't something that happens after trust is broken. It's something that should have happened long before that. The truth is, trust is not just about words, it's about patterns. Anyone can say, I'm sorry. Anyone can promise they won't do it again. But what does their track record say? What do their actions show? Someone who values your trust doesn't just beg for another chance, they take accountability. They change their behavior. They don't just make excuses, they make an effort. And if they don't, then they are not sorry. They are comfortable. Comfortable knowing that no matter how many times they break your heart, you'll still be there waiting to hand them another chance. So here's the reality: trust, once broken, doesn't get restored by words alone. It's built back through proof, through work, through genuine change. And if someone isn't willing to do that work, then they're not worthy of your trust. Because at the end of the day, trust isn't something you assume. It's something people earn. And once someone proves they are careless with it, they don't deserve to hold it again. Let's talk about boundaries, not the flimsy kind, not the ones you apologize for, not the ones you bend every time someone guilt trips you into doing something you don't want to do. I'm talking about real, solid, unshakable boundaries, the kind that are built on self-respect. Because here's the truth. Every time you set a boundary, you are making a statement about how you deserve to be treated. You are defining the limits of what you will and will not accept in your life. And the people who love and respect you, they will honor those boundaries. The people who have been benefiting from your lack of boundaries, they will test, challenge, and even mock them, but that's not your problem, that's theirs. Some people will make you feel like setting boundaries is selfish, like you're being unfair or difficult. They'll say you've changed, as if that's a bad thing. Maybe you finally realize that your time, energy, and peace are not up for negotiation. Maybe you've decided that you're done letting people walk all over you just to keep the peace. Because here's what no one tells you: keeping the peace should not come at the cost of your own. Let's be honest, how many times have you ignored your gut feeling? Said yes when you wanted to say no. Let someone disrespect you just to avoid conflict. How many times have you sacrificed your own comfort just to make someone else feel better? And where did that leave you? Drained, resentful, angry at yourself for allowing it to happen. That's what a life without boundaries looks like. You become a version of yourself that's always trying to please, always trying to avoid upsetting anyone, always stretching yourself thin for people who wouldn't do the same for you. But boundaries are how you take your power back. A boundary says, I will not allow you to speak to me that way. I am not responsible for fixing your problems. I do not have to explain myself when I say no. I will not keep giving chances to someone who keeps hurting me. And here's something important. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They are about controlling what you allow in your space. You cannot stop someone from trying to take advantage of you, but you can stop giving them access to your life. You cannot force someone to change, but you can decide you will not tolerate their behavior any longer. And the best part, the moment you start enforcing boundaries, you start attracting people who truly respect you. You create space for relationships that are built on mutual care, not on obligation or guilt. You start to see that the right people don't punish you for setting boundaries, they appreciate you for having them. Because boundaries are not selfish, they are not mean, they are not cruel. They are an act of self-love, a way of saying, I respect myself too much to allow this. And anyone who cannot respect your boundaries does not deserve a place in your life. So stop apologizing for them, stop feeling guilty, and stop letting people convince you that protecting your peace is wrong. Because it's not, it's necessary. We live in a world that teaches us to toughen up, to hide our emotions, to build walls so high that no one can ever reach us. We're told that vulnerability is weakness, that showing emotions makes us fragile, that we should never let people see us struggle. But let's be clear about something. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is power. Think about it. What is more courageous than standing in your truth, unguarded and real? What takes more strength, pretending you have it all figured out or admitting that you don't? Hiding behind a mask or allowing yourself to be seen for who you truly are? The world may try to convince you that vulnerability makes you an easy target, but in reality, it makes you unstoppable. Because vulnerability is not about oversharing or spilling your heart out to everyone you meet. It's about honesty. It's about the courage to say, this is what I feel. This is what I need. This is what hurts me. This is where I need help. And that kind of honesty, it's terrifying. It's raw, but it's also what connects us. Because at the end of the day, no one wants to build relationships with a facade. No one is moved by perfection. We are moved by authenticity, by the moments when someone looks at us and says, me too. I've been there. Yet, so many of us resist vulnerability. We hide behind sarcasm, behind busyness, behind the idea that if we never let anyone get too close, they can't hurt us. But here's the catch. Avoiding vulnerability doesn't protect you from pain. It just isolates you. It keeps you from truly experiencing love, connection, and the depth of real relationships. Because you can't selectively numb emotions. If you block out pain, you also block out joy. If you refuse to let yourself be seen, you will always feel unseen. Some people will take advantage of your vulnerability, yes. Some will mistake your openness for weakness and try to use it against you. But that's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. The right people, the ones truly meant to be in your life, will honor your vulnerability, not exploit it. They will meet your honesty with their own. They will see your openness and respect it, not use it as a weapon. Vulnerability is also what sets boundaries. When you have the courage to say, this is what I need in a relationship, or this is what I won't accept, you are making it clear how you deserve to be treated. That takes bravery. It takes more strength to be honest about your emotions than to bottle them up and pretend they don't exist. And let's talk about resilience, because people think being vulnerable means being fragile, but that's a lie. The strongest people are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who fall, break, and still get back up. They are the ones who acknowledge their pain instead of pretending it doesn't exist. They are the ones who say, this hurt me, but I will not let it define me. So if you have ever felt ashamed of your emotions, if you have ever been told that you need to be less sensitive or toughen up, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Your vulnerability is not your weakness. It is your superpower. It is what makes you human. It is what makes you courageous. Because real strength isn't about hiding your feelings, it's about owning them. We've all heard the words before. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. It won't happen again. And for a moment, those words feel like healing. They feel like a bridge being rebuilt, like a sign that things will finally be different. But then nothing changes. The same patterns repeat. The same hurt resurfaces. The same person who swore they were sorry proves once again that their apology was nothing more than words strung together to keep you from walking away. Here's the truth. An apology without action is manipulation. Anyone can say sorry. It takes almost no effort at all. But a real apology doesn't live in words, it lives in behavior. It lives in accountability. It lives in the willingness to do the hard work of changing, of making sure that whatever hurt was caused doesn't happen again. Saying I'm sorry without change is like breaking a glass, handing the shattered pieces to someone and expecting them to be okay with holding them without ever doing the work to glue them back together. A real apology sounds more like I see how I hurt you and I take full responsibility for it. I won't just say I'll do better, I'll show you. I understand the damage I caused. And here's what I'm doing to fix it. But if someone keeps apologizing and nothing ever changes, what they're really saying is, I want to be forgiven, but I don't want to do the work to deserve it. Let's be clear, mistakes happen. People are human. We all slip up. But when someone truly values you, they don't just apologize. They self-reflect. They listen. They ask what they can do to make things right. And then they actually do it. You should never have to beg for respect. You should never have to remind someone over and over that their words mean nothing if their actions don't align. And yet, so many people fall into this trap, accepting apology after apology, hoping that this time will be different, giving second, third, fourth chances to someone who has already shown they're not willing to change. But here's the painful truth. If they were truly sorry, they wouldn't keep doing it. This is where self-respect comes in. You do not have to keep forgiving someone who refuses to change. You do not have to keep putting yourself in the position to be hurt just because someone knows exactly what to say to keep you from walking away. Words can be beautiful, but they can also be weapons. And a fake apology is nothing more than a tool of manipulation used to keep you in a cycle of pain while the person causing it faces no consequences. So the next time someone says, I'm sorry, listen closely, not to the words, but to the actions that follow. Do they actually do the work to make things right? Do they hold themselves accountable? Do they stop making excuses and start making changes? Or are they just filling the silence with words they don't mean, hoping you'll accept them and stay exactly where they want you? Because an apology without change is not an apology, it's a lie. And you deserve better than lies. How many times have you bitten your tongue to keep the peace? How many times have you said yes when every part of you wanted to say no? How often have you shrunk yourself, softened your voice, or changed who you were just to be accepted, just to feel like you were enough? We've all done it. Maybe you did it in a relationship, making yourself smaller so the other person wouldn't feel insecure. Maybe you did it in a friendship, always being the one to compromise, the one to adjust, the one to carry the weight, because you were afraid that if you didn't, they'd leave. Or maybe you did it in your family, playing the role they expected, never daring to step outside of it, because the idea of disappointing them felt unbearable. But let's get something straight. Your worth is not up for debate. It is not something to be negotiated. And it is not determined by how much approval you get from others. When you trade your self-worth for approval, you give people the power to decide how valuable you are. You hand over control of your confidence, your happiness, your identity, all in the hope that they'll validate you. But what happens when they don't? What happens when they still criticize you, still leave, still make you feel like you're not enough? I'll tell you what happens. You lose yourself. You spend so much time molding yourself into what you think will make people stay that you forget who you actually are. You become a version of yourself that exists purely for the comfort of others rather than for your own truth. And here's the real danger. Once you start bending for approval, it never stops. You keep chasing it. You keep trying to prove yourself. You keep thinking, maybe if I do more, if I give more, if I become more of what they want, then they'll finally see my worth. But let me ask you this. If someone only values you when you're bending over backward for them, do they really value you at all? Real love, real friendship, real belonging does not require you to trade your self-respect for someone else's validation. The right people will never make you feel like you have to prove your worth. They will never make you feel like love is something you have to earn, like you are only valuable if you fit into their expectations. So stop waiting for other people to tell you that you're good enough. Stop measuring your worth by how many people approve of you, by how much you can give, by how easy you are to tolerate. Because true confidence, true power, true peace comes the moment you realize that you do not need their approval to be worthy. You were worthy the moment you took your first breath. You were worthy before you learned how to please people. You were worthy before you convinced yourself that love had to be earned through self-sacrifice. And if someone cannot see your worth as you are as your full, unfiltered, unapologetic self, then they are the ones who don't belong in your life, not the other way around. So don't shrink. Don't mold yourself into something smaller, quieter, easier to digest. Stand in your worth. Speak your truth. Walk away from anyone who makes you feel like you have to trade your authenticity for their approval. Because the right people, the people who truly deserve to be in your life, will never ask you to. We are taught from a young age to hold on, to fight for relationships, to push through pain, to never give up on people we love. We hear things like real love never quits and loyalty is everything. And so we grip tightly even when it hurts, even when we're the only ones trying, even when holding on is breaking us. But here's a truth that's hard to accept. Sometimes letting go is the most powerful thing you can do. Because letting go is not the same as giving up. It is not losing. It is not failure. In fact, more often than not, it's winning. It's reclaiming your peace. It's choosing yourself. It's realizing that not everything and not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Holding on to the wrong things costs you think about the things you've held on to for too long. A toxic relationship, a one-sided friendship, a job that drained you, a past mistake that still haunts you. How much energy did you spend trying to fix what was never meant to be fixed? How much of yourself did you sacrifice just to keep something alive that was already dead? Holding on when you should be letting go doesn't just exhaust you, it steals your joy. It keeps you stuck in places that no longer serve you, places that drain you instead of filling you. And the most dangerous part, it convinces you that walking away is failure. But let me tell you this, there is no victory in staying in a situation that destroys you. The real win is having the strength to walk away. Letting go is a form of strength. People think letting go is the easy way out. That's a lie. Letting go is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It means choosing the unknown.